Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over how to make these super robust tent guidelines. These are super easy to use and super light too. So yeah, let's get into it. Typically, guidelines look like this. They have this plastic tensioner, they have a loop or just some cord, and they're really a pain to use. You have to go tie a knot, you have to tie a loop, you have to tie something into your stakes, into your tent, and especially with gloves on and cold where you just want to get your tent set up, these are not fun to use. That's where we're going to make these. So, the key components for these guidelines are this mini carabiner right down here, this ultralight tensioner right here, and then another carabiner along with our stakes and a loop on our stake. Traditional guidelines look like this. They have cord and a plastic tensioner. You use this tensioner in a multitude of ways to build tension on your cable so it doesn't move, just like this. You put this on your stake, you put this on your tent, there you go. The problem is, these are really difficult to use, not intuitive, and in the cold and the rain, tying knots is not what I want to be doing. So that's why I created these. These have a few main components. The first and obvious one is our cord. I chose 3mm reflective cord, so you can see it at night. I have these mini carabiners, they're made out of metal. I have these ultralight toothed tensioners that are super intuitive, easy to use, and then obviously a stake with a loop on it. I can already hear a lot of people saying, oh, those would be so much more heavy than this. And yes, it will be heavier. But when we go from traditional aluminum ones, which many people want for strength, these are 2.5 grams, where these new tensioners are 0.7 grams. There is still going to be added weight, as these two carabiners combined are 7.4 grams or 3.7 grams each, which does mean that there's going to be a 5.6 gram increase for each guideline. Which over a full set of guidelines, I'm going to be making 15. That comes up to like 84 grams, which is just about 3 ounces. Not too bad. We will also need stakes for our assembly. I just have to have these for my tent. I did buy all the other components on Amazon. The link will be in the description. It was pretty affordable. The rope, I got a lot of it. These carabiners are very, very cheap. I did get 2 packs because I have so many guidelines to be making. And these tensioners are also very, very cheap. So this is a great cheap project and a great way to build some knot tying skills and get some practice into that. These stakes I'm using are super, super cheap, but they'll work just fine. I'm not too worried. The tools we're going to be needing for today, we're going to need some scissors, we're going to need a lighter, for cutting our cable, and also making sure we can melt the ends so it doesn't fray. To get started, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our cord. I'm going to take 6 feet of it because I like to have my guidelines be about 6 feet. I don't need much more than that, which is my arm span. I'm going to cut it with my scissors. I've tried using a knife and it tends to not work. What I'm first going to do is I'm going to melt the ends so it doesn't fray as we're tying knots. So we need to get that melted. Just like that. I sometimes like to pull on it a bit to make it more straight and even. And we're going to do that on the other side too. This side definitely needs it more. Cool. Now that we're ready, we're to tie a Davy knot around one of the carabiners. I highly recommend using animatedknots.com to see how we do this. We're going to go around again, and go around again. And boom. We're going to have a Davy knot onto one end of the carabiner, ready to go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to feed on our tensioner. So we have to make sure we feed it on the right way. So we're going to feed it through this hole. It does matter, or else it will not work properly. And then we're going to put another carabiner on this loop. Slide it on like this. And then we're going to feed the cord through the other end and tie a simple overhand stopper knot. Again, Animated Knots has a great online guide on how to do this. And boom, there we go. And next thing you know, you'll see as we pull, it bites in and stops. And what you can do is once you have your stake in the ground, you can easily just go and pull this up, into a bite in, and there you go. Look at that. Our guideline's holding. Oh, good bit of force too. I can pull on this with all my strength, and it's not moving, which is perfect. I have no concern that these will hold up in even mountaineering conditions where there's strong wind and whatnot. As you can see, these are relatively short. You can make them longer, however long you need, or also shorter if you have a small tent where you don't need very long guidelines. Cool. One thing you can do, as you see here, I have an extra loose end. You can cut this end off again and remelt it. Save those precious 3 grams of rope, not even. And it will make it just look a bit cleaner. Okay, now it's time to do tent stakes. As you can see here, these holes are pretty small, and while these carabiners do fit through the holes, this isn't going to be super great long term, and I'd like to have a bit more easy to get onto loops that are easier, don't matter orientation and all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed non-melted cord through. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I like to pull it through just like that. What we're going to do is we're going to feed on about 8 inches, maybe a foot. We can always trim excess. And we're going to make ourselves a super simple knot. So, because I want to have my loop about this big, I'm going to do my fingers like that, move through here, and there we go. We have our knot right there, and we have a nice little loop. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim down these ends. I'm going to trim that one right there. I'm going to trim this one right there. And then we're going to melt these so they don't fray anymore. Perfect. There we go. Ha. We have our loop. It's not going to come undone. You can easily throw a carabiner on there, just like that. And we pull, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's perfect. Anyways, that's how we make our guidelines. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, come back for another one just like this. We're going to be going through doing waterproofing on a tent that I just got used. So we're going to be redoing all of it, getting it to be tip-top shape and ready for adventure. We also have other videos on how-tos, stuff like that, outdoors. If you like the video, like it. If you like this idea, if you like the content, please subscribe. It would be really helpful. Leave any comments or questions, concerns, thoughts. I'd love to hear them, especially for more video ideas. Anyways, thank you.